Good morning, y'all. As you know, I'm Mr. Pursley, and today we're going to be doing a didactic group or a psychoeducational group. And pretty much what I want to do is give you some information that will help you to adjust to some things that might be going on within this school year. I realize that we've had times and we've had our process groups, and so I just thought that maybe between the three of us here, there's some information that I could give you that might uh, help with adjusting to some new dynamics here at the school. We've had several changes take place, and with these changes are the teachers, and I'm getting a lot of reports from individuals having a hard time adjusting to how certain teachers operate in their classrooms. So, what I'd like to do is give the group an opportunity to process at least one situation. And this, I want to do a little bit of an exercise, and this exercise is called an empathy exercise. So, I would like one person to share an experience that happened within this week. I don't want you to tell me how you feel about it. I just simply want you to tell me what happened. And what I'd like from the other two members in this group is to give me a one word emotion. And if we need to, you can look on our feelings chart over here. I want you to find an emotion on this chart that might be what the person is going to process, what they might be feeling as they have expressed what took place throughout their week. So, if everybody is on the same page with that, I'm going to open the group up and allow just one person, please respectfully, start off speaking about a situation that happened this week that they may have had a hard time adjusting to.
Uh, I would like to share what happened this week because it just really, you know,
Sir, real quick, before you start, of course, everyone was able to bring in their paperwork, signed, giving consent to do the group, and we are recording today. So if we could you please give me your name, if at all possible, before you start? Give me your name, and we can kind of go from there, if that's all right.
yeah, it's not a problem. My name is Jim Jones, and I'm having a problem with Miss Pruitt coming at me all wrong in my class. See, I've turned my life around, and I'm trying to get to a place to graduate and make something out of myself. She used to be a substitute, and she remembers me. So she's trying to treat me like she did when she first met me. She always has something to say to me. Now, I might sit by people in class, but honestly, I just do my work. So I don't appreciate being treated like I'm a thug or a problem when all I'm trying to do is stay out of trouble, not get a record so I can join the military, so I can help take care of my family and graduate for this year. Because if I don't graduate behind her being my homeroom teacher and treat me like that, I mean, I'm going to feel some kind of way at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Jones. I really appreciate that. Now, what I'd like to do is extend this question to the rest of the group. That would be for you, Miss Jenny James, and also for you, Mr. John Jeffries. If you were Mr. Jones, can you please express a feeling as to how you might feel if you were him? And originally I said it was one emotion. I don't want to limit the emotions as to how you might feel if you were him. But please, if we could, can we let's keep it to, a maximum of at least three emotions, if we will. And I would like to start with you first, Jenny.
Yes, my name is Jenny James, and if I was Mr. Jones, I would feel frustrated, disrespected, and kind of sad about that.
Thank you for sharing, Jenny. Now, I want to extend the same question to you, Mr. Jeffries. If you were Mr. Jones, how would you feel?
Okay, so my name is John Jeffries, and just real talk, I mean, like I'm saying though, I'm gonna be pissed off. First of all, I'm gonna be mad. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be a little bit provocative about when I come to the class. You know what I'm saying?
All right, thank you, Mr. Jeffries, for sharing today. I do believe, I think, if next time, if we could, can we hold off on the pissing off or feeling pissed off, even though I think we all understand what you mean. But if you could, since it's not one of the words that's on our feelings chart that we have here on board, let's refrain from using that. But I do applaud you for expressing yourself in the way that you did without cursing today. So, Mr. Jones, would you say that they accurately expressed how you might be feeling about this situation that took place between you and your homeroom teacher, Miss Pruitt?
Yeah, yeah, they pretty much did that. They pretty much hit the nail on the head. Especially John. He said provocative, you know. Uh, I be feeling real provoked in that class, and I feel like doing something. So yeah, their emotions, they pretty much summed it up real good for me. I appreciate that, y'all.
Excellent. Okay, very good. So today's uh, didactic, or today's lesson that we're going to go over, is something that is a little bit, I don't want to say unusual, but it's not used here in the States much. But I have found it to be very beneficial when dealing with situations that provoke certain emotions. I'll just explain a little bit about it. It's called the human Givens approach. And so when we leave group, if you want to Google any of this, you certainly can. So you can be more, so you can have more insight on what we're going to be going over next time. But basically, with the human Givens approach, and I'll give you a rundown again of what it is. The human Givens approach focuses on a couple of different things. And what that is that people in life have some basic innate needs. Okay, they have innate needs. And these, when I say innate needs, these are needs that people need to have for physical dynamics, whether it's emotional dynamics, from birth. And they stem from, and let me also add, you may not necessarily need to meet all of them, but you need to meet some of them. And so in regards to having a sense of security, you want to feel safe within an experience without having a level of fear about walking into an experience. Okay, so that's security. You have autonomy and control, and that means I want to have some level of manageability or control of what's going on in my life. A sense of status. Status is just being accepted in the social group that you're in, if you're even in one. Having privacy. That means having time and space to reflect on our own experiences. Attention, receiving attention from others, positive attention, preferably from others about certain dynamics. You have connection to a wider community. Intimacy, which is basically an emotional connection to other people, friends, and things of that nature. Competence and achievement, and that is a sense of our own achievements and things that we are going to do to take on life's demands. And last, meaning and purpose, being driven to accomplish a particular type of goal. And so as I'm hearing you guys speak about understanding how Mr. Jones is feeling, a question wants to come to mind about who else is experiencing this type of dynamic in Miss Pruitt's class. But I digress. I don't want to address that. What I want to address, because there are going to be a lot of, quote, Miss Pruitts in life that you're going to face. The real question is, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to manage that? You can't let a person or circumstance or situation allow you to be in a position that you don't function to your best ability. Now, those are, and again, let me take a step back. We just addressed innate needs. Now, in order for you to obtain your innate needs, there are certain things that you have which are called innate resources. Now, these resources are basically your abilities, or your ability to be capable to achieve these things to get your needs met in life based on a few different characteristics. One of the characteristics is memory. Being able to develop complex and long-term memory dynamics where you learn not to go through the same things or to do something different. The next one is rapport, and that's just the ability to build a healthy dynamic between you and someone else. Imagination, which takes you in a position to focus attention away from your emotions and more about how to solve problems more creatively. Instincts and emotions are a set of basic responses that you have for behaviors. A rational mind is just being conscious of your surroundings and what you're dealing with, knowing what you're getting ready to walk into and how to prepare yourself for it. A metaphorical mind, and that is a very abstract dynamic, but we'll go into that later on. It's an unconscious ability to look at what is called pattern matching, which we will address. Next is observing self, and that's the part that you can kind of take a step back and be more objective about what you've got going on and see what you could have done differently about the situations in regards to managing your own insight, emotions, or physiological reactions. And last is the dreaming brain. Now, with this is something, dare I say, it's very similar to dealing with things metaphorically, but it is being removed completely from a situation, something that you might pray on or meditate on or focus on when you are completely disconnected from the stimulus of the situation. Now, there are people in life who run into issues for a variety of different reasons, but in this case in particular, in the human givens approach, we find that there are 3 reasons that keep people from being able to actively achieve their goals. And that is because someone either has issues from an environmental point of view, and what that means is that the environment that we're in is toxic. And because it's toxic, we are not able to achieve our needs until we change the environment that we're in, remove ourselves, or change the conditions of the environment that we're in. The other thing is that if there is damage with our, quote, innate resources, and that's within. And so I say that because there are some people who have some emotional and mental dynamics that makes it unlikely to manage your innate resources to get your innate needs because of a deficiency. Okay, and that could be like PTSD or an extreme acute anxiety disorders, things like that. And last is just knowledge, and that's just not having the insight or the understanding of what's going on. Those individuals need to be objective. And if you're objective and open-minded and you're able to listen and be, introspective about what's going on, yeah, that out of the three is one of the reasons that can be managed better than being damaged or environmental issues and things of that nature. So, having said that, the specific, now that is of course Human Givens approach. The specifics of the Human Givens approach is something that is very similar to what we call REBT. And with REBT, of course, it's called Rational Emotive Behavioral Therapy or theory. We talked about this last week. This is very similar to that, but we're using an acronym called APET. When you deal with Human Givens, you're dealing with this acronym called APET, which is basically, again, the A stands for activating event. The P stands for pattern making. That's basically identifying with what do you keep running into that is similar within these situations that makes you feel what you do. Which, of course, next comes the E, which is emotions. What emotions are elicited from being exposed to fill in the blank? And then the T is for thinking. Now, either the thinking is about thinking errors or the T is about thinking differently. But regardless of what you use the T for, this is our skeleton that we're going to use to address specific dynamics within a situation so we can have different outcomes in the future. I know that's a lot to take in at one time, but I'm hoping we're all on the same page. How's everybody feeling about what we're talking about so far?
I think I'm good.